Coming up on today's show,
we will be taking a look at the events happening in Media City UK for the next generation of media producers.
our reporter went out and explored one of Salford's charity runs,
Martin is here with the latest sport.
and Meg's here bringing you the latest on the weather. Welcome to Quays Friday Fair Show with me, Jack.
And me, Nicola. Here we will bring you all the updates from Tuesday's show.
After the horrific events that happened last week in Paris, the alleged attacker is believed to have been found dead.
The news broke on Wednesday after a French police raid in Saint-Denis. His body was found and identified through his fingerprints.
This week, the University of Salford has welcomed the International Media Festival, and two of our reporters caught up with ITV's Emmerdale director and volunteer representatives.
Yes, I'm Vicky Thomas. I work for ITV and I've just been directing Emmerdale for the past 6 months.
Why did you choose to get involved with the event? How do you think it'll affect students here at the University of Salford?
I think, from my own background, I've been in television for about 20 odd years now, and I think sometimes it's hard to know what other areas do and other departments. So I thought any information I could give about, different aspects of television would be a good thing, so people can work out if that might be something that they want to work on.
Do you think that it will help students in the job prospects after seeing your talk and listening to you? Do you think that they'll maybe choose a different pathway from what they're actually studying, and what prospects it brings?
I don't think it'll help the job prospects, but I think when I first started in television, one of the things I realised was it's sometimes hard to know what different job roles are, what actually happens, and I think when you first get in there and you go, actually, I always thought I wanted to be this, but that seems like more like something I might want to do. I think something like that, the more you can learn about what the different options are, has got to be a good thing, because you can choose maybe which way you'd like to head.
Attended like a really good talk by the writer of The Simpsons, and it's really great. We just help out where we can, and yeah, that's it.
How did you get involved?
They sent out emails to our student addresses, and I just replied I was interested in volunteering. So that's it, yeah.
Have you done anything like this before at all?
Yes, when I was in high school, I helped out during open days and such, and it was really fun. I enjoy it.
Do you think you'll come again next year, maybe take part, or do you reckon you'll be another volunteer?
I don't know, I think it's fun to be a volunteer because you feel useful helping around, but you can still attend, sessions and talks. So I think I'll volunteer again next year.
Now it's over to Martin with the sport.
Thanks, guys. So we start with some sad news today in sport. Jonah Lomu, one of New Zealand's finest rugby players, has died at the age of 40. He died in his home in Auckland on Wednesday. He had been diagnosed with a rare kidney condition by 1996. He was seen as a legend in the rugby scene, and he was capped a staggering 63 times for the All Blacks and became a global star, scoring 4 tries against England in the World Cup in South Africa in 1995. In 1994, Lomu made his Test debut and at only 20 years old faced England in the semi-final game in Cape Town in 1995. Former New Zealand All Blacks head coach described Lomu as a magnet for rugby that came out of nowhere. If you gave him a bit of space and gave him a ball, anything could happen. That's rugby legend Jonah Lomu, who has died in his home at the age of 40. In other sports news, Eddie Jones has been appointed as the new England rugby coach. The former Australia and Japan coach will be taking over Stuart Lancaster in December with his first match on the 6th of February. And over in the Rugby League, the Salford Red Devils have been successful in signing Samoa international Daniel Vido on a 2-year deal. This has been secured after already bringing in the likes of Justin Carney, Mark Flanagan, Robert Louis and Ben Murdoch-Masila. After the shake-up, Vido believes the new-look Salford will be the dark horses of next season's Super League. Meanwhile, Salford have released former England prop Darryl Griffin from the last year of his contract as he goes on to join Kingstone Press Championship club Featherstone on a 2-year deal. And finally in sports, last Saturday the Reds reunited at the Old Trafford, bringing the likes of David Beckham, Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes to the pitch, including Sir Alex Ferguson. Excited fans were thrilled to see the old hands back on the pitch alongside Beckham's son, who came on and played with him in the last 10 minutes of the game. Fans were also given a pre-match performance by world-famous tenor Andrea Bocelli. The match was in aid of the charity UNICEF, and all the money raised from the tickets and donations went to the charity. I'm sure the atmosphere in the stadium would have been incredible. That's all for the sport today, but remember, if you'd like to catch up again by going to our YouTube channel.
Thursday night saw hundreds of runners descend on Media City in their neon gear to take part in a very special charity race. Emily Murray went to find out more.
I'm here today at Media City on a cold November evening to find out exactly what the Run in the Dark charity race is all about. Also, for some reason, I'm running the 5k race too.
Last Thursday, hundreds of runners put on their reflective gear to run a 5k or 10k race at night in Manchester, one of 50 cities worldwide taking part in the same charity event to raise awareness and money for the Mark Pollock Trust. Mark Pollock lost his sight in 1998 and became an adventure athlete competing in endurance races. In 2010, a fall from a second-storey window damaged his spinal cord, leaving him paralysed. Setting up the trust, Mark is now on a mission to fast-track a cure to paralysis that will cure millions around the world.
Well, I believe the cause is a great cause, and it's a bit of fun as well, you know, in the night and getting all dressed up and everything.
I'm running for Rosendale Hospice. This is my 5th 10k in 8 weeks.
I run the USSU running club at Salford University for Student Union, and there's quite a few students that wanted to run tonight. It's their first run or first race, shall we say, to try and get some race bling. So there's a good team of 10 of us to running tonight for charity.
We started running
about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And we just saw this and thought it looked like good fun.
So I've just finished running my first ever 5k, 40 minutes, personal best. I'm quite happy with my time. It was a great atmosphere. People encouraged me to continue on, have fun, and I really enjoyed it. This is Emily Murray reporting for Quays News.
And for entertainment today, Rachel will bring you the latest on Adele's album release and the rivalry of 1D and JB. What have you got for us?
Thanks guys. So first we have to mention Adele's new album 25, which is being released today. After her 3-year absence, the Brit School graduate is expected to sell 1 million copies of the album in the first week of it being released. However, her album will unfortunately not be streamed on Spotify or Apple iTunes, therefore her album sales will hopefully go up. We're just hoping for another great album full of heartfelt songs. She states that she never thought she could live up to the success of album 21, that she nearly quit music for good. However, the singer stuck to the stage on Tuesday night for a special sold-out concert in New York's Radio City Music Hall. Meanwhile, Zayn Malik has hated on One Direction's new album Made in the AM. The former boy band member called it generic with a lack of creativity. He said, "As much as I was in the band and loved everything that I did, it's not the music that I'd listen to, and I don't think it's an offensive statement to make." However, I think the One Direction fans will definitely disagree with this statement. One Direction's album was released last Friday, the same day that Justin Bieber released his new album, Purpose. However, the boy band's album has currently sold 14,000 more copies ahead of Justin Bieber's and has topped the UK's midweek album chart. And after the horrifying attacks in Paris over the weekend, global concert firm Live Nation say they are acting in abundance of precaution as they heighten security procedures due to recent events. They said that in a statement, the safety, security of the shows and fans and venues continued to be their highest priority. So guys, have you listened to Adele's album at all?
No, I've not. No.
You haven't?
I've been too busy listening to One Direction.
Oh, really?
I love Adele's album.
Yeah. This morning Radio 1 played her new song, and it's totally different. It's so different from a normal style, like the power ballad and everything, but it's so good. It's nice to listen to an upbeat song by her. She's finally maybe changed her view on life and music, and it is really good to listen to.
Is it still all about love? And
yeah, I'd say so. It's a lot more upbeat. There's a bit of a beat behind it, and you can dance to it now rather than just like swaying, wave your hands about. But yeah, no, it is good. So.
Well, what do we think of One Direction splitting up? Well, Zayn's left us now, so that's terrible, isn't it?
He's bringing out his new music later on this year or next year, though, and he's been working with the likes of Bruno Mars and Trey Songz and stuff like that. But he's gone back. He said in a statement that he wanted to go back to making R&B music rather than obviously the generic pop music that he feels that One Direction make. But
I suppose he didn't want to make the money as much anymore.
Yeah, that's true. He just wants to make the music. Yeah, so.
That's amazing. So Adele or One Direction, what do you like more?
I have got a guilty pleasure for 1D, but I like Adele's new song. If the rest of the album is like that, I'll definitely listen to hers over One Direction.
Well, of course, there's
shock horror, but yeah.
There's Little Mix as well.
They've brought their new album.
Yeah.
That's at number 5 this week at the album chart. But that's a lot more down to earth. They've got a few acoustic songs on their album, so it's a bit different than generic pop, but it is really good. So.
Isn't there someone from Little Mix that goes out with someone from One Direction?
Yeah, they kind of were together and then split up.
Oh, they split up.
Let's not mention that. But yeah. So finally today, our very own monthly music programme aired episode 2 yesterday, featuring UK hit The Hoosiers and upcoming artist Mr. Hart. Tune into our YouTube page to have a watch.
Now it's time for your Friday First forecast with Meg.
Yes, hello. So after being swept off our feet by the strong winds throughout the last few days, it's eased off today, but it's been pretty dull and rainy. More persistent showers will move in later on today from the northwest, occasionally heavy at times. Despite this, there will be some sunny spells appearing later on this afternoon, with maximum temperatures of 8 degrees. Moving towards tomorrow and the rest of the weekend, it will be starting pretty unsettled for the majority of the Saturday and Sunday. Wintry showers are more likely, possibly becoming heavy in some localised areas. But after a cold start on Monday morning, the weather is set to improve, bringing sun, but still only temperatures in single figures, so wrap up warm. This is Meg Lee with your weather update.
So the weather at the minute, it's quite
well,
difficult.
apparently
It winds.
The Met Office put out something yesterday saying we're meant to have snow this weekend. I'm hoping not really, but
yeah,
you know.
It's on its way there because I was waiting for the bus today and there was a lot of hail.
Oh my word.
Yeah, and so hopefully there'll be some snow for the Christmas
markets. I'm hoping for snow. I love snow,
Oh, the Christmas markets will be brilliant with snow.
Make it even more Christmassy with
exactly,
snow as well.
Are you planning on going?
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually hoping to go and get some really nice German food from the markets. That's always good.
Okay.
Well, didn't you attend the Next Generation Festival that we've had at the university last
Actually,
few days?
I did. I was volunteering as well as attending the festival. I think it was an amazing experience, meeting people from the industry. But what do you think?
It really was. I mean, we met the director of Emmerdale and she was so insightful with her comments and everything. She just gave us a great perspective, something different that we've not heard. Like, we've always heard about TV news, but the directing, the soaps and everything, we heard something different, something more better in a way that gave us an uplifting spirit, I suppose.
Yeah, I managed to get into one of the lectures with East Coast Pictures, and this was basically just explaining about formats of shows. For example, BGT, X Factor, kind of how they kind of create the shows, how they pitch the shows. So the person who was lecturing actually made was it Nanny 911? Yeah, you were with me as well. And it was basically just discussing how you can get inspiration for shows, just looking at newspapers or TV programs which already exist, and kind of like putting a spin on different shows like that. So yeah, it was really interesting, and a lot of topics were covered in that lecture as well.
Yeah, I met Rob Bagshaw, who he created the Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Project Runway, I Am Kate. And someone like that who creates some of the biggest reality shows in the world, it's very interesting to listen to 400 people work on that show, which is ridiculous.
It's amazing how many jobs there are in TV.
Yeah, because some people say, oh, you're doing journalism as a course, and say, oh, there's not a lot to go into. But you do the multimedia bit, you do every platform now, because it's like social media's like reformed and become better, and they give us an insightful look on it, and it is really interesting.
It's very important to be multi-skilled for journalism courses, definitely.
Yeah. And also my dreams came true. I met the CBBC presenters.
Fangirling in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, presenters from Newsround and also the CBBC office. It was really interesting to see how they kind of have got to where they are in the industry, especially people who work in the office, and just how much work they've had to put in to get to where they are as well.
Yeah, because they do say there is a lot of work put into it, don't they, and you have to work hard to get where you are, but I suppose they gave us a realistic look on it. So.
I think it was inspiring. At the same time, they weren't saying it was easy, but they weren't saying it was hard at the same time. If you work at it and you do it, it's easy. If you're passionate about it enough, you will get the job you want to do.
Yeah, and just briefly, you actually, I think, went to the Simpsons.
Yeah, I met the writer from The Simpsons. It was brilliant. Such a great festival.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, on Tuesday's show, we will be covering Transgender Remembrance Day and bringing you all the latest news. So don't forget to... That's all from today. Cheers.
You can catch Friday First next Friday at 1:30, or you can follow us on Twitter at QuaysFridayFirst and like our Facebook page. See you later.